We need someone at the RNC who is the equivalent of Elon at Twitter. Just come in and weed out the crap. Come in and drain this swamp. Get rid of all this corruption and this waste and this establishment squishiness and actually know how to fix. Because that's the other thing. It's hard to sit here and say, okay, well, you must just be a squish. I don't know. Maybe you're just incompetent. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter to me. Incompetent, ideologically squishy, the end result is the same. You're not taking care of the problem. So Ronna Romney McDaniel is being challenged by a couple of people. Lee Zeldin, who ran unsuccessfully, but a very admirable campaign for governor of New York. Lee Zeldin is considering a run for RNC chair. He has not yet announced. Here's my take on Lee Zeldin. I think he'd be good. I think he'd be better than Ronna Romney McDaniel because I don't think that that's a high bar to cross. However, I say this with all due respect. I say this in a friendly way. I say this as a challenge to him. I don't know that he was the most stalwart culture warrior when he was in the House. I think he can be. I think he'd be a great governor of New York, but I don't know. I would need to sit down and have a conversation and ask him some specific questions about certain areas of corruption and how he's going to fix that before I could fully get behind the idea that he would actually clean house at the RNC. He's option number one. Option number two, Mike Lindell, the MyPillow guy. He said he's going to launch a long shot bid for RNC chair. And I'm kind of chuckling because he's not going to win. I don't know that he's like a realistic candidate. Maybe he's like the Marianne Williamson of this RNC chair race. But the most realistic and probably my favorite candidate at this point, although what do I say about politicians? I don't like any of them. You got to earn my vote every single time. I put no one on a pedestal. Harmeet Dhillon, the attorney, Harmeet Dhillon she's also an RNC committee member from California. She is going to launch a bid against Ronna Romney McDaniel. And from what I have seen of her, I think that she would be well suited for this. And I say this, you might hear the little bit of hesitation in my voice, and here's why. Because when someone is so good at their current job, as Harmeet is, I mean, she runs the Dhillon law firm, and she is the legal bulwark in our nation against the left's legal abuse. She does phenomenal things with her legal expertise. And in a sense, I hate to see her leave that, because if she leaves that, hopefully she'll leave an apparatus in place that would still operate along her mission. Perhaps she'd still be involved in it, but I hate to see her leave that. So my only hesitation is you are doing such an important, critical job that not many people can do. I almost hate to see you be promoted out of that position, but I understand in the larger picture that what she does, the legal defense she does, isn't going to be possible if the left completely subverts our country. So perhaps it is time to move up to RNC chair. And the reason I say this, that I think that she is the best fit for this, is because maybe you're tired of hearing me say this. I say this almost on a daily basis, right? If we do not recognize and acknowledge the reality of the political enemy that we are facing, then we will not fight back against it well. We will not win. And Harmeet Dhillon has demonstrated through her actions that she understands that we are not facing good faith Democrats. We are not facing, the party of Bill Clinton. We are not facing people who agree on fundamental principles. We are facing Marxists, people who hate our country, people who want to tear down our rule of law, people who want to impose socialism on us, people who hate freedom, and people who hate us. And Harmeet Dhillon understands this. So back up for a second. What is the role of the RNC? We have to discuss this briefly. The role of the RNC, they sort of have four, when I say four primary things, they have four buckets of purpose, four mission buckets. They're supposed to be the platform of the Republican Party. So, that's sort of self-explanatory, but any Republican politician who signs on to the Republican brand is supposed to be in line with the platform of the party. That is supposed to be administered by the RNC. They're also supposed to brand the Republican Party, and I'm absolutely laughing here, because if Republicans have ever done anything poorly, it's brand the Republican Party and allow the Democrats to co-op our branding. The RNC is also responsible for a large amount of fundraising. This is a critical function of the RNC to help candidates get elected. And of course, election strategy. So these four things, these four pillars of the RNC are pretty important.